Good morning, gardening friends. Starting to think about spring. Sun's out, it's still very fresh, but spring is coming. It is a bit of a countdown and spring preparation. I am all established with my garden beds. So for me, when all my winter crops are finished, I will be replenishing my soil. So I just wanted to share the products that I use and will be using to replenish my soil, and just talk about probably what I'd do if I was starting from scratch, because our customers are getting garden beds all the time. So you're either replenishing or you're either pre-filling ready for spring. So you'll be doing one or two things. So firstly, replenishing. So I always think about like giving back the goodness. All your veggies that we're growing has used up all that energy, all the goodness out of the soil. So we're going to replenish so that the next lot of veggies are going to have fresh, all the fresh goodness to use up again. So Keith Edwards is like the gardening guru that I love to follow. He's really easy to understand, and I love the products he suggests. I've been using them for a while. So firstly, you go with a compost, so topping up with a compost. So I would normally put 2 bags of compost in my garden beds and mix that through that top layer. So options, Keith talks about Clyde compost. Clyde compost is down in Victoria. I know it's available in some bigger stores, I think like Sydney, and we do hope that he'll be out to more rural New South Wales. So Clyde compost, Keith raves about. I have used Rocky Point. It's certified organic, it's bagged. I can get that from Mitre 10 in Forbes, and I know Rocky Point's not available like in your big outlets, so you do kind of need to check that for locations. Like I think there's only one spot in Wagga that does it. Like for example, it's just a bit harder to get. Chock-a-Block is a new product out, newish, and that is a certified organic compost, and you can get that from the big Bunnings outlets, and I know you can get it from some like ag and vet type outlets as well. So Chock-a-Block, so I'd either be using like Clyde compost, Rocky Point, or Chock-a-Block, because they're like the certified organic, and I would only need a couple of bags per bed to be topping up. I know with Chock-a-Block you can only get it from the bigger outlets. I'm in Forbes and I can't get it here. Like I would be going to Orange to get Chock-a-Block. You probably could get it from Wagga, Dubbo, Griffith. I would hope in Griffith. So yeah, the smaller Bunnings, I found things aren't as available, what I use. But anyway, that's what I'd be doing, is going over to Orange to get those things. I'm lucky enough that that Vince has gifted us a whole pallet of Clyde compost, so I'll be using Clyde compost to replenish my garden beds, and I'm just so excited because Keith has spoken about it so much. So I'm going to be using Clyde compost for my replenishing this time around. So I'd be using 2 bags of compost, and then the next thing I would be using is worm castings. Verisoil worm castings. I've been using this for a little while now. This is just all basically worm poo, worm castings. These guys are based in Yenda, which is just outside of Griffith, and I love that. So Keith's been talking about this as well. So some people make their own worm poo, but for the amount, I don't have a worm farm at this stage. It's probably like a future Joe's problem. My head just can't deal with it yet. So I would be using half a bag of the worm castings. So 2 bags of the compost, half a bag of the worm castings, or they say up to 20%. So I used a lot of it last time, so you may not even need a whole half a bag, but that's what I would tend to do. My garden beds are a 2.2 metre by 90, and it's a 34 centimetre high. So I basically just put it in, mix it into that top layer to get all that goodness. The roots obviously go down a lot further, so I want to make sure that it's really throughout that bed. And obviously when you water, these things like get down into the soil as well. So I'd be doing those things, and then the cherry on top is the rock dust. So I use probably 2 big handfuls of rock dust. So these guys are in Ballarat. So Monash, just adore Beck. So Keith is a huge advocate for Monash as well. So this is your volcanic rock, putting all the minerals back into your soil. I also use this on my compost, and Beck just did a post recently. You can put it in your worm farms because worms need grit to digest their food and get all that good worm castings. So it's used for a lot of things in your garden. And you can just sprinkle it throughout all your garden beds as well. So they're the 3 things I would be doing: the compost, the worm casting, and the rock dust. That's like my go-to now. Thanks to Keith for making me feel confident in my little gardening approach. Otherwise, you know, it can get very overwhelming. But that's my go-to for replenishing. If I was starting a brand new garden bed, so you got your half height, full height. Down with your full height, I fill with logs and branches. So I'm just focusing on the 30 centimeters at the top. I would be going to a landscaper, for example, Topsoil here in Forbes. They now deliver compost to your home. So I'd be looking at a reliable landscaper to get your topsoil. And then I would be mixing it with your compost, your Vera soil, and your rock dust, because you need obviously a lot of soil to get going. So yeah, you won't. That's just too hard to do it in bags to like fill up a whole garden bed. So I'd be going to a landscaper, and then once it's set up, then you can do your little replenishing. There's obviously like so many different ways to get a garden bed full of goodness. You know, if you're on a farm, you probably have access to like sheep poo, cow poo, and all those things. I'm a town garden, so I don't have access to all those things. So this is how I do my little concoction of goodness for my plants. And I mean, I just have noticed the difference. And I love Beck's post. She put in there, like, there's so much magic happening within your soil. She did a little post about the magic, that the rock dust and everything that's going on within the soil. And I know using these products, that there's just, I put all the goodness in, it's doing its magic in the soil, my plants are just thriving, and all is going well. So yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, so huge thanks obviously to Keith Edwards. Like, you know, I feel confident, more confident. I'm still learning all the time and trying to get the seasons right with the planting and what to do when. But it's all a huge journey, which I love. So spring readiness. So, you know, I'm just doing this now because you might need to go and get all your little bags ready and your resources ready for when your winter crop's finishing up. But wouldn't it be wonderful, like, to win all this? Wouldn't it be wonderful to win all this? A spring little readiness kit, and even a garden bed. Wouldn't it be wonderful to win all that? Yeah, so just letting you know something exciting is happening very soon, for a spring readiness little giveaway coming up with all my favorite little products. And I'm not sponsored or anything by any of these. This is what Keith Edwards has recommended and I use, and I just love sharing and supporting other businesses, so that's why I'm recommending it. And we all want to do a little collaboration together and get you into the garden. So happy gardening, everyone. I hope this little video has helped you.